Chapter 5. Finally Friday. That afternoon, Kate ran to tell her mother she was going to start a new shell collection. Her mother was happy for her, but I think she had a feeling that starting a new collection was not what she thought it was. Kate ran out the door to help her father get everything. Beach toys, Kate's shell collection and more. Into the car. Grace walked outside, or should I say tripped out of the house, because she had a handful of books in her arms and she couldn't see where she was going. She walked right into her father and tripped over a loose brick. Books scattered all over the ground and everyone rushed to see what happened after Grace walked into her father. "I'm okay, guys," said Grace. She scrambled to her feet. Everyone got into the car and clipped in their seatbelts and didn't say a word on the drive until they all burst out in laughter. Grace, however, stopped laughing when she realised they were laughing at her. She rolled her eyes and sat stiff in her seat. She let out a little groan and looked at her feet. Kate looked at the new empty jar where a new shell collection would soon be. She thought about what shell she would put in it. She wanted to know if there were more of the shiny ones. Soon after, Kate was searching for the rock where she first found the shell. There! She'd found it! She ran over to it and picked it up. "Grace!" she yelled, "look!" Grace came rushing down to her. Together they held it in line with the sun's rays. In a zap of light, both girls were gone. Chapter 6. Where are we? Kate and Grace woke to the sound of singing and dancing. The song was terribly scary to Kate, and the words were, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, we're on our way to the island of the treasure chest where we defeat our foe. We share the gold, we share the ball, but captains gets the best of all. The golden crown is what he gets because the captain is the best." By foe, they meant some gargoyles that had guarded the treasure for generations. Grace looked at Kate, and Kate looked at Grace. At that moment, something jumped out from behind them. Both girls screamed at the top of their lungs, "Ah!" Grace and Kate jumped off what seemed like a railing. But instead of the solid ground they were expecting to land on, both girls got a shiver out of them when they landed in warm, salty Caribbean water. Both of them scrambled out of the water and onto the sandy beach. It was dark outside, so they felt around for a safe place to sit. They looked back in the way they had come, and what they saw was unimaginable. By firelight, they could see a large sailboat with ragged sails and a crow's nest at the top. They could see that the wood on the ship was beginning to rot, and the ropes that they saw were thick and covered in sea snails. They could just make out people dancing and singing around a large bonfire, some eating too. The people dancing around the fire wore rags for clothes and belts with swords and guns in them. Grace was speechless. However, Kate barely made out pirates! Chapter 7. We want your help. Grace calmed Kate down, but then both of them got energetic again because they saw a small rowboat coming towards them. Kate fainted. Grace did all she could to stop the boat from coming. It kept coming. "Let me go!" screamed Kate. She had woken up when the pirates took them. "Captain wants to see you." In 5 minutes' time, they were being yanked up by a rotten rope. Grace was terrified. When they got to the deck, they were dragged across the floor into a small room with a wooden desk and a chair. The desk had many different things on it, like a quill in ink and a long treasure map. It showed a group of 3 islands, each with an X on a certain part of the island. Kate and Grace exchanged looks. Could those be the Cayman Islands? They thought. Suddenly, a pirate with an angry face rushed into the room. "What have we here?" said the angry pirate. Kate and Grace both realised the angry pirate was the captain. Captain turned to the girls and said, "We need your help." Kate wasn't scared anymore. "With what?" asked Kate. Grace motioned to her to stop talking, but Kate went with her instincts. "With..." All of a sudden, a map appeared in her face. "With this!" yelped a small pirate. And then Grace realised it was a girl, Kate's age. She nudged Kate, and Kate turned to see what Grace had nudged her for. Kate was always making friends, so she couldn't resist saying hello. "Hi," said Kate. "Hi," mumbled the girl. "What's your name?" asked Kate. "Ash. I was born a pirate. It's horrible." Meanwhile, Grace had given up worrying, so she started talking to the captain. When Grace asks questions, she wants answers. "Why do you want our help?" asked Grace in a sort of rough tone. The captain was stern. "We need you to guide us to the treasure. Don't you know that?" Ash, who was talking to Kate, laughed. "Humans so odd." Chapter 8. The Pirate Proclamation. "Let me explain," said the captain. "First off, you need to stop calling me just Captain. My name is Captain Flags. Once upon a time," he began, "there was a pirate king, and one day he discovered a magic gem that could see into the future. He used it on many things, and one day it showed him to this day. I told him that 2 children would be here to help us find the treasure the generations of pirates have been searching for. He made a huge proclamation, and you see, that's why you are here. Are you willing to help?" Kate and Grace wondered what to say. They had come all this way, but they knew they had to get back home. Grace thought, how to get home? She reached for that shell that had took them to the pirates, but it was gone. "Oh yes," said Captain Flags, "you won't be able to go home until you finish your journey here." Kate and Grace nodded to each other. If the only way to get home is to finish our journey, then yes. Grace and Kate gave each other a hug. It was hard to believe they were really there on a real pirate ship, and it was also good to know that they were on their way home. Chapter 9. Sharks or Dogs? Boom! Crash! Kate woke up in a small bed made of rock. Across the room there sat another stone bed. Kate expected to see Grace, but instead she saw Ash. Of course, she thought, they put me with Ash. Ash's room was a dungeon. She had a small wooden desk in the left corner of the room, and in the other she had a small mirror. Kate walked over to it and looked at her reflection. She saw an 8.5-year-old girl with brown hair. She had freckles everywhere and hazel eyes. She could hardly see her teal shirt and lucky necklace. She ran over to wake Ash up, but she was gone. "Look!" shouted Grace on the deck. "Shark!" cried Ash. Kate heard them and ran out of Ash's room. She ran straight into Grace. Kate looked up. "Sorry." Kate hugged her big sister. She looked over deck, but the only thing she saw was a dog. She looked closely and it had a collar with popcorn on it. "Grace!" Kate yelled excitedly. "It's not a shark, it's popcorn." Grace ran over to see if she was right. She looked over the edge of the boat and stared in awe. Kate was right. "Get a ladder so I can get him." The pirates thought she was going to get the shark instead of the dog. They let the rope down for Kate and she scrambled down it and yanked popcorn out of the warm, salty Caribbean waters. Everyone but Grace stared at Kate when she climbed up the ladder. Not because she'd come back with the wrong thing, because they were confused. "I'll explain at dinner." Kate laughed.